guess everybody's interested in Courseworks 2 and 3. So let's open up the floor to questions on Courseworks 2 and 3. Does anybody have questions on Courseworks 2 and 3?
I got a question on Courseworks 3. So when we summarizing paper, define summarizing visualization paper, do I have to observe visual techniques from you guys? Because your how to read paper is important. Like template of there's no visual technique and application.
Probably you would mention that in the implementation part. Probably, yeah. Like they developed software that shows a tree map, for example, could be in the implementation. I'll check my Teams here to see if there are any questions on Teams. Research methods. Okay. Apologies if this is a silly question, but there was a slide in your lecture titled Key Questions for Literature Survey. And in it there were questions such as, have pathways for future research already been suggested, and so on. Yes, I think I remember this slide. I was wondering if we should discuss the answers to these questions in the introduction and motivation section in our literature review. That's I would say it's possible. However, the most important things to discuss are, one, what is the topic, and two, why is it important? Think motivation. And you can also have a look at the how to write a visualization survey paper for more details on how to write a good introduction. Right, if you look at the coursework, you'll see there's a reference there, how to write a visualization survey paper. There it is. And it goes into a lot of details, right? How to write the introduction, what goes in a good introduction, and so on. Questions? Any question?
I asked something yesterday, but you skipped it.
I skipped it? I did it just because it was you that asked. Okay, how did I do that? So, is this one?
Yes.
Okay. When creating our website through GitHub, I assume we need to include the exact same files we downloaded from GitHub, right? So we do not need to alter the README file. We do not even modify the code for index. I am asking this for the state in terms of another person's work as our own. Oh, I see. Yes, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. Don't worry about plagiarism in this case. Plagiarism in this case. It's very obvious that you're using someone else's piece of software. I know about the software and everything. I mean, there's no, you're not trying to present the software or any aspect of it as your own, right? Sorry, I missed that somehow. I don't know. Is there a limit to the number of survey papers that can be reviewed? Yes, there are only so many survey papers you can review before you die? Let's see. I guess how many were you thinking? That's my question. Okay. How about, did the description captions for each representative per research also commit to the word count? I didn't think about this. How about this? I'll let you decide. How's that? I don't really care that much about that. But like do make sure though that the main body is 2,000 words. Make sure that the main body is 2,000 words or less. Yeah, I know that could be challenging for some people, but that's part of the exercise. You know, when you write something, you don't have unlimited space and time, right? If you have to write something, you have a limit on your space and time. The only exception might be a book, but even books have space and time limits. Like I have a colleague who I admire very much, Hammond Sammett. He published some books on spatial data structures that I use during my studies, and I have them on my bookshelf. And I remember he came out with a new book on spatial data structures, and the book is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is like super big. It's much bigger than this. It's like this big. It's huge. It doesn't literally fit on the bookshelf properly. Like you try to put it on the bookshelf and it's like sticking out like this sore thumb. And it's too many pages. It's like 700 or 800 pages or something. So I think he should have broken that into 2 books. Like that's too big of a book. So there are even limits on books, like when our books are too big. And then I asked him, I said, this book is ridiculously big. And I said, how long did it take you to write it? And he said, yeah, anybody want to guess? 10 years. 10 years. It's not a good approach. So literally that book is too big. So even with books, there are limits. Any other questions about Courseworks 2 and 3?
Another question is, if I can't access to the database, but I think this paper is not good, can I just miss that? Discard it?
If you can, yeah, you can. If you can't actually access the paper, you wouldn't include it in your literature review.
Is that a good excuse?
Yeah. If you can't access the paper, that usually means there's a problem. Yeah. Any other questions? I can see if anybody wrote some email with questions. But even if somebody wrote an email, usually my answer is, can you ask this in class or on the research methods? Okay, here's apparently a very important question about coursework 2. I just submitted my coursework 2 on a visualization work based on the death population of different sexes and periods. Since I saw your answer on Teams that we can study any aspects of the data, but I just wonder if it's okay that I haven't used the death rate data source at all because I may need to redo my work if it's not fine. I'll be very appropriate if you can reply to this as soon as possible. So you do have to use some aspect of that data. You can't just use some random data source. So actually, yes, you need to use some part of the data, the what is it, the HMD, human mortality, or HMR? So, yeah. So, can you ask this question in class or on Teams? Right, I can't answer every individual question like this. You know, imagine if all 200 students had the same question and I got 200 emails and they did that for every question. So I get 100 questions asked 200 times. Like, it's just not possible. So I need to manage. Okay, okay, here's another one. Oh, okay, nope, that's fine. Any other? Okay, it looks like I caught up. It looks like I'm all caught up. Teams. It's a little bit late to be joining that team, by the way. Any other questions? I guess some people want me to review their individual things. I can do that right after. Question?
All research papers that we were reviewing should be like connected, or because, for example, in my case, I found like really different research papers that are not related, but it's also related with my dissertation topic.
Okay, can you give a little bit more detail? Why are they not related?
I was gonna my dissertation topic is about like usability for data privacy and security in smartphones.
Okay.
And I couldn't find a lot of research papers about that. Actually, not like a few of them about Android or like iOS, but there's not like many. Mostly it's about like concerns in Android devices or like more general topics. So should be like connected. I was trying to get some kind of reference. I was looking for reference papers as well, but I'm not sure.
You mean survey papers?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a quick look. Survey paper on usability, privacy, and smartphones. Is that?
Data privacy and security of smartphones.
And you already did this. You already did this search.
Not only like survey papers, but also I checked like a few more papers.
Okay, this one looks really good. Did you find this one? Modern authentication techniques is about security and usability perspective. That one looks quite. Field evaluation based on child behavior. Okay, this one looks really good too.
So like connected papers should be coming from like one survey paper, or they should be connected from like just a normal paper, research paper?
Either one is fine. Yeah, either one is fine. I would take this paper, and I would take this paper, and you could put them into connected papers. I would look in the references of these two, and then I would also look at the cited by for those two, and find out who cites them. And I think you could have 10 papers quite quickly and easily. starting with those two. Yeah.
So I found 14 paper in my scope which is published can I just choose 10 easy ones?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the typical case, is you're going to find more than 10. And then in that case, you find your 10 favorite ones, basically. Or you could find like the 10 most recent could also be a possibility. Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to make some selection. Like you can also make a selection based on how you think the quality is. You can look at a research paper and make some assessment of the quality, like are the images high quality? You know, is the writing high quality? Like, is the formatting good quality? Like, you can look at the paper and just have an idea about the quality based on its appearance. Other questions?
Now, literature is a research paper. Does it have to include the survey?
It doesn't have to include a survey, but I recommend it. You know, there's most likely going to be a survey on the topic that you're interested in, Gesundheit. Yeah, what's your topic? Did you decide on a topic?
Sentiment analysis in international.
Okay, yeah, there's going to be survey papers on that. Survey paper on sentiment analysis, and what was it?
Financial.
Oh, in finance. Oh, okay. There'll be a one on sentiment analysis for sure, but maybe not sentiment analysis and finance. Maybe not. Stock trend prediction using news sentiment analysis, learning methods, trading strategies. So this is a survey paper of general sentiment analysis, but probably, yeah, it would be surprising if somebody had a survey paper on sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis and finance, actually. But guess what? You could be the first person and publish it. That's true. Other questions?
So mostly type of evaluation and implementation is like surveys, interviews, and some kind of user study. And
yep.
So the data characteristics are mostly like output from them. And I feel like it's like repetitive because I was trying to get that, but is it like okay, or should I just check for another thing?
For data characteristics, you could make a distinction between input data and output data. For example, if you want to make it a little bit more or less fuzzy. But if they're all the same, anybody have a strategy if they're all the same? You could summarize that uniformity in a table and say, like, look, here's the list of papers and they all have like this evaluation technique. That could be summarized in a table, or it could even be summarized in a sentence. Like all 10 of these papers have user studies as an evaluation technique. But if you see a lot of redundancy, that's an indication like where you could easily include a table. Like here's the list of papers, and here's a column called user study evaluation, here's a column called interview evaluation, and then you just tick the boxes, you know, sort of thing. So yeah, I didn't mention that, but you're allowed to use tables in your literature review. Should I mention that somewhere? Paper summaries. You are also allowed to use tables in your literature review. You'll notice that most literature reviews have tables in them in images. Yeah. Other questions?
So published paper better than PhD paper.
Yes, so a published paper is better than a PhD thesis. That's one of the reasons I ask for DOIs. Yeah. A PhD thesis generally doesn't have a DOI. However, if you find a PhD thesis with a DOI, that's a good sign. And then I would say, okay, that's okay to use that one. Yeah. Okay, I guess we should evacuate the room probably, and I can take more questions downstairs, yeah, for the next 24 hours. I forgot to ask you guys something. Would it be helpful to make the deadline for Coursework 3 on Monday? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, very
helpful. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. I'll change it to Monday.
wonderful.
Just remind me.